This film documents Shakespearean writings as interpreted by 12th grade students at Huff High School. Viewer discretion is unadvised. The History Channel presents Shakespearean Legacy, The Merchant of Venice. William Shakespeare, known author and artisan writer. Known for the known-knowledge piece of The Merchant of Venice.
The Merchant of Venice was written by William Shakespeare in 1596. The story comes from elements of pre-existing literature in England. Around the time that the play was written, there was a lot of anti-Semitism.
Jews were a popular target of hatred in Shakespeare's England, in large part due to the trial of Queen Elizabeth's personal physician, Rodrigo Lopez. Lopez was convicted of plotting to poison Queen Elizabeth. Unnatural stereotypes about the Jews prevailed unchecked.
Anti-Semitism was the hate of Jews. Queen Elizabeth I, who was the queen in this time, mind you, pardoned Jews and allowed them to stay in their castle. They were not allowed to leave, or else they would be publicly lynched.
Shakespeare wrote The Merchant of Venice after the Lopez trial. Shakespeare did not make his Jewish character completely stereotypical. Shylock is deeply flawed, but also more complex and deeply human. He is famous for presenting a defending argument for Jews. He discusses how similar Christians and Jews are in terms of honor and humanity.
The question that whether Shakespeare was actually a true anti-Semitist is actually quite controversial to today. He does not actually show stereotypes in his writing, yet he does show a more complex character in Shylock himself. You know, Shaq, as I like to call him, Shaq, the original Shaq, Shakespeare was more understanding towards the Jews.
Shylock is a more complex character than other Jews written into English stories. Shakespeare allows Shylock to be more human than otherwise depicted. Shakespeare's use of deep characterization in this play helped to revitalize the opinion towards Jews in England. Antonio is the merchant of Venice. He gives 3,000 ducats to Bassanio because he needs money to court Portia of Belmont. Antonio's money is invested in ships, so he doesn't have the money to lend at the moment. He then borrows money from a Jewish moneylender, Shylock.
Around this time, Jews were generally stereotyped as being greedy. Shylock suggests that there will be no interest on the loan, but as Shylock is a Jew, he was stereotyped as being greedy when he suggests a pound of flesh. This happened to be the most famous aspect of The Merchant of Venice.
Portia's father said that she will marry the man who chooses the right of the 3 caskets that have either gold, silver, or lead. The Princess of Morocco and Aragorn failed in choosing the right casket, but Bassanio succeeds by choosing the lead one. Antonio receives news that the money invested in his ships is gone because the ships are lost. He is then unable to pay off debt and owes Shylock a pound of his flesh. Portia disguises herself as a lawyer on Antonio's side when Shylock brings the case to court. She says that Shylock should get the pound of flesh but can't spill blood, which means that he should forfeit his life for betting against Antonio's. The judge pardons Shylock but tells Shylock that he has to give half of his wealth to Antonio and half to the state. Antonio does not want to accept Shylock's money.
Antonio actually suggests to Lorenzo that he leave his property to Antonio's Christian lover, Jessica. This kind of shows the long and hard distinguishment between the Jews and the Christians at the time Shakespeare wrote this play. The Christians were heavy upon pushing their beliefs toward the Jews in hope of converting them and actually rid themselves of Judaism altogether.
Then there is finally good news on Antonio's ships, and he can collect his money, and there is a celebration and good fortune.
There are many themes used throughout The Merchant of Venice, but the most important of which happens to be the self-interest versus love theme.
However, the love is not a relationship love, but rather a familiar love. After Shylock, the main character, loses money, he is very upset and runs through the streets. He apparently values his money at least as much as his daughter, suggesting that his greed outweighs his love. He seems more hurt by the fact that his daughter sold a ring that was given to him by his dead wife. A theme of hatred and cyclical phenomenon. Throughout the play, Shylock claims that he is simply applying the lessons taught to him by his Christian neighbors. Shylock's very first appearance, as he conspires to harm Antonio, his entire plan seems to be born of insults and injuries that Antonio has inflicted upon him in the past. These injuries help develop motifs that set up the overall theme of the play.
In terms of motifs, The Merchant of Venice relies heavily upon laws and rules. Laws set by which Venice follows, and rules by contracts and wills.
When Portia arrives and manipulates the law most skillfully of all, the outcome is the happiest ending of all. Antonio is rescued and Shylock is forced to abandon his religion. The fact that the trial was such a close call does, however, raise the fearful specter of how the law can be misused. Without the proper guidance, the law can be wielded to do horrible things.
The Merchant of Venice uses ample amounts of symbols. The most important of being the three caskets, or is it the three spaceships? Aliens.
Was Shakespeare visited by otherworldly creatures? Most likely not. However, the contest for Portia's hand, in which the suitors from various countries choose among a gold, silver, and lead casket, symbolizes the cultural and legal system of Venice. Shakespeare was a wise and powerful author of the centuries. He will forever be remembered for centuries to come. This has been History Channel, Shakespeare's Legacy, The Merchant of Venice. Thanks for watching.